Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I'm going to explain the topic that is eco-friendly dyes. You have an idea, a day before I have explained the synthesis of a sort of eco-friendly dyes and used term called semi-synthetic dyes. What does it mean? Semi-synthetic dyes means, as we have an idea, we used to have two sort of components for the preparation of dyes, especially the azo dyes. We used to start with some sort of an amines, and we perform diazotization. We produce diazonium salt. What is diazotization? What are diazonium salts? What are azo dyes? Separate lectures has already been delivered on these topics, and they are available on YouTube. You are requested to visit those for our comprehensive detail about those. So what I'm saying at the moment, we start from certain aromatic amines, we perform diazotization, okay, then we produce diazonium salts, then we bring in some sort of couplers, After the coupling of the diazonium with any aromatics through electrophilic substitution, we received a dye that is called an azo dye. Let's say we do start with some sort of amines, let me just give you a glimpse. Then we perform diazotization, we generate diazonium salt, and then what we do, we bring in some sort of coupler, Let's say we bring in phenol over here. They do undergo sort of a coupling, and they give the corresponding colorant, and subsequently we change them into the salt, we get azo dyes, In case of semi-synthetic dyes, we discussed that either this starting compound or the coupler, one of the two components is supposed to be some sort of natural component, natural compound, especially they are from the plants, they are plant based natural compounds, so we can bring them either as couplers or we can perform sort of diazotization of such compounds, and then the resultant dye which carries one of the component which has been received from plants, that will be termed as semi-synthetic dye, okay. So so this is how we use to receive the azo dyes. And that last lecture I've given you very practical example available in literature where people have used some sort of available compounds. Some of my Indian colleagues, they have used syringic acid. This body is called syringic acid. They have used it as a coupler, It's a plant-based compound, plant-based natural compound. What they did, they took aromatic amines of 2 to 3 different types, and then they performed diazotization to receive the diazonium salt. Then they bring this salt in and use this body as a coupler. We have an idea, as per the chemistry of the substituents at this ring, this electrophile gets attached at this position, giving us this sort of colorant that is really a sort of a semi-synthetic. Why it is semi-synthetic? Because this compound which has undergone diazotization, it is of a synthetic origin, however this is of a natural origin. So subsequently they converted it into a sort of a salt. So the final product would be some sort of a semi-synthetic dye, So they have used it as a coupler. Similarly, they have taken another example. They have taken another compound that is called apicacetan. They use that compound for the preparation of the same sort of compound, same sort of dyes. So what they did, they have used this sort of compounds called apicacetan. Apicatechin, they have been used this compound again. Yes, what they would have done, they started off with certain amines, 2-3 different amines they used in their method for the synthesis of the dyes, then they perform diazotization, something like that. They produce this sort of a diazonium salt. Then again they use this body as some sort of a coupler, and what they would have generated, they would have generated this sort of the final product, which is a sort of an azo colorant. Subsequently, it would have been converted into a salt. So they have generated this sort of a, azo dyes, semi-synthetic azo dyes. These are the semi-synthetics. These are, called as eco-friendly dyes. So what the other could be done? Today I'm suggesting you something else. Regardless what the people have done, you could do the other way around, okay? So what one could do, let's say we could produce we could go for nitration over here. You people have an idea how the nitration could be performed, okay? Secondly, then nitro group could be reduced to an amine, then finally those amines could be converted into diazonium salts, okay? Then what could have been done, you can bring in any other coupler. Let's say we have brought in phenols, so what would be, we can generate this type of again azo dyes, okay? So it's an azo colorant, azo dye, we could convert into its responding salt, so we would have this sort of the product. So what has happened over here? In the last examples which are cited in the literature, they were bringing in diazonium salt and using this cenergic acid as a coupler. At the moment what I did, I have produced nitration reduction and then diazonium salt from this body, and then use this one as a coupler, not this one. Again, the resultant compound will be this sort of a compound. Again, this will be semi-synthetic because one of the part belong to the plants, it is of plant origin. The rest part is some sort of a compound which is supposed to be, salt. So a coupler. So this is the final product. It could be done. Similarly, we have this apicacetan. It's a natural compound. One could do nitration over here. Yes. Again, you can go for reduction to generate amines out of it, and then one can go and perform diazotization, and again one could bring some sort of a coupler like phenol, then it could react over here to give us this sort of the dye. So what actually I'm doing, I'm I'm producing diazonium salts from the natural components like senergic acid and then the apicacetan I'm converting into their corresponding diazonium salts, and then I'm reacting them with other couplers. So the resultant could be the dye molecules, This is how the semi-synthetic dyes could be generated using these compounds. One could do the other way around as well. What could be done? The people could do the other way around as well. Let's say it's the synergic acid. Syringic acid actually, as I've told you, one can go for nitration over here. I've done nitration over here. Again, I can go for reduction to generate an amine. Then subsequent diazonium salts. Then what can be done? We can use this apicacetan as a coupler. We can bring in as to couple with this compound. We could bring in as a coupler. So what can happen? This can make a bond over there. So we can have this sort of a dye where both parts belong to the plants, both have been generated from plants. So such type of synthesis is called total synthesis. Or natural synthesis, because both of the components, the one which has been used as diazonium salt has also been generated from a natural compound. Similarly, the other one which is acting as a coupler, it has also been received from plants. So both are of natural origin. So this will be an excellent example of the natural dye, having bioactivity as well. We have an idea this will be a natural dye as well as it carries syringic acid and this apicacetans, which are known for their biological applications, biological activities. A range of biological activities including antiviral, antifungal, antioxidant properties are known for such compounds. So resulting dye is supposed to have those biological activities. So this is an extraordinary example how you can generate eco-friendly dyes through the use of natural compounds without involving the synthetic compounds. Similarly, what I did over here, I did over here performed nitration, reduction, diazotization of this ring. The same would have been done over here, the other way around. You could go for reduction, nitration, then one can go for reduction, this body, and then again one can generate diazonium salts over here. Then the coupling over here, it could give us again the same compound, same sort of dye. But what is the difference? Difference is that this was the coupler and this was the diazonium component in the initial dye. Now they have switched with each other. The coupler has become the diazonium salt and the diazonium salt has become the coupler. However, the dye will have the same sort of. Why we do so? We need to look into the structure of the compounds. Nitration easy on this ring or nitration is easy on this ring. The first step we want to start on the benzene ring, that is nitration, if we want to generate amines. So we need to look whether nitration is easy on this sub component or this is easy on this component. Over here you can see this compound carries two benzene ring. Number one this one, and number two this one. When we produce, we perform nitration. We don't have an idea. The nitration can be on this carbon, on this carbon, on this carbon, on this carbon. So many carbons are available. So when we will perform nitration, there will be a mixture of compounds. So many compounds where different carbons will carry the nitrations. However, in this compound, if we go for nitration, only single substituent, only single carbon, same sort of carbons are available for nitration. So wherever the carbon undergoes nitration, the structure will remain the same. So better to do nitration of this, then reduction, then diazotization compared to this one, because it carries so many carbon available in the rings and they all can undergo nitrations, and subsequently there will produce a mixture of compounds with nitro groups, So better to use this one as a nitro compound for nitration, then reduction, then diazotization, then the subsequent coupling, So this is how it happens. Whenever we have two, three different natural compounds available, we need to find the suitability of the nitration on which compound will be more suitable compared to the other. Okay. Similarly, this is an example of one of the two compounds which have already been known in the literature. So I've discussed with those. In addition to this, we have an idea about a very well known plant that is called Moringa. Moringa oleifera. It carries a number of compounds which are biologically active, and this plant is frequently available around us. The component compounds which are available in Moringa oleifera, they can be used for a number of ways, I'm trying over here the compounds for you. This compound is called myricidin, available in Moringa oleifera. I would write here the compounds of Moringa oleifera, one of the compound called myricidin. It is frequently available, and then the next is quercetin. The structure is almost the same. Yes, this compound is called quercetin. These are the two of the compounds which are available in Moringa oleifera. You can see they are sort of a flavonoid compounds. Flavonoids are sort of polyphenolic compounds available in plants. So these compounds are available in Moringa oleifera. Moringa oleifera is very common species in Pakistan, even in our own city. So that's availability is not an issue in this case. So if you have this sort of a compound, let's say to start, again, Yes, we could go for nitration over here. Then one can go for reduction, and then one could go for diazotization. So one way is this. So what one could do, again, one can bring in some sort of phenol, and they will react with phenol to give us a sort of a semi-synthetic dye. This is a semi-synthetic dye, because one of the compound, that is myricetin from the Moringa oleifera, we perform nitration, reduction and diazotization, then coupling with the phenol, we can get this semi-synthetic dye, okay? Or we could do same. Let's say we have a syringic acid available with us. I can write this is the formula of the syringic acid. Let's say we have bring in as a coupler, we have bring this in as a coupler. So let's say if we have a nitrogens like this, they will couple over here. So then we will have a natural dye, a sort of a natural dye received from both components which belong to the plants, So we have performed nitration, reduction, and then we have reacted with syringic acid. So this dye will also be a sort of an eco-friendly dye, because no synthetic chemical has been involved. Synthetic chemical mean both the starting and the coupler both are natural, Again, let me give you what we have done. I've told you we need to perform nitration. Let's say in this compound, again we have this carbon available, this carbon. If we perform nitration on this compound, what could happen over here? It can undergo nitration over here, over here, over here, or over here. So we are expected to receive a mixture of nitro components, nitro compound, On the other hand, we take syringic acid. Again, what is over here? We have only one carbon, same carbons on the both sides, so it's the same carbon, So if we are to do nitration, so better to do nitration of this one rather than this one. So we need to do nitration of this one. Then we can go for reductions. Then we can go for diazotizations. Then we can use it something like that. So this is how we can produce the azo dye from the natural substituents. Similarly, this body could be bring in, it can be used as a coupler. Similarly, we can perform nitration on this compound as well for the preparation of eco-friendly dyes. So this is the basic main idea, that how the eco-friendly dyes could be performed, dyes could be synthesized. I have explained to you in my previous lectures as well. Today's lecture is the continuation of the last lecture. We can prepare eco-friendly dyes starting from natural compounds. The natural compounds could be the ones from where we start, as we have started from here. Myricetin or quercetin could be the starting compounds, where nitration, then subsequent reductions, then diazotizations could be performed, and then they could be coupled with phenols, naphthols, H acid, J acids. So those products will be the semi-synthetics, because half of the H acids, J acids, K acids, benzoic acid, they are the synthetic components. However, this is the natural component. If we start from the natural component, perform nitration, reduction, diazotization, and bring again the component number 2, that is also a plant based, we bring that in as well. We bring that in as a coupler. Once they couple with each other and they produce the compound azo compound, which after which we can produce some sort of salt on any substituent on any polar group. The resultant compound will be an azo dye, and that dye will be an eco-friendly or sort of a green dye, a dye which has been produced, which has been generated from natural sources, uh, plant-based sources. As I've explained to you in the last lecture, why we need to produce those dyes from natural sources. We want to produce those dye molecules from natural sources because because of the uh, environmental issues. The natural components, natural compounds like given over here, they are not hazardous. They are non-hazardous for the environment. They are non-hazardous for the living organisms. They are non-hazardous, non-toxic for the ecosystems, However, on the other sides, a number of amines which are used for the preparation of dyes, they are highly toxic for the living organisms. They are highly toxic for the aquatic life, So that is why, with the passage of time, people have demanded for the preparation of eco-friendly dyes, eco-friendly compounds. So that is why we are interested. The people are interested, in fact, to prepare dyes which can be used without any problem-related issues. So these are the basic examples, basic ideas which could be applied for the preparation of such compounds, I've given you examples of the dyes which are azo dyes over here. In general, the azo dyes are supposed to be carcinogenic. Okay, you can convert these dyes into what one could say, we can have non-azo dyes as well. Let's say we have this sort of a compound. We perform nitration, we did reduction, okay, then we have not performed diazotization, we stopped here. What we did next, we bring in some sort of analdehyde from outside, an aldehyde compound. The reaction between aldehyde and a ketone, what it gives us, a bond sort of called imine, the bond which is called an imine, and this will be again a dye, and this time this dye will be a non-azo. So we can produce both azo dyes as well as we can produce non-azo dyes starting from natural components, natural compounds. One can see here, yes, the starting compound like syringic acid and the other, let's say, quercetin or amiracetin have been used. Okay, both are the natural components. So what's about, we have done nitration using nitric acid and sulfuric acid. Then we have performed reduction. Then we have performed diazotization. These smaller steps do involve the use of synthetic chemicals. Like NaNO2, we need HCl. For nitration, we need HNO3 and H2SO4, These are the synthetic chemicals. Still, they are contaminants. Although we have received the dye, which are from the plant sources, but those smaller steps are still there where synthetic chemicals involved. So that is why they are not 100% green, However, they are greener dyes, not the 100%. We can't avoid the use of nitric acid, sulfuric acid for nitrations. Okay? We can't avoid the use of the auxiliaries, the chemicals which are required for diazotization process. So that is why we call them eco-friendly dyes, greener dyes. They are not 100%. However, they are very much eco-friendly as most of the synthetic chemicals, the amines, the use of synthetic amines has been reduced, has been eliminated with the use of the natural compounds, natural components. So this is an extraordinary examples where natural components has been replaced with synthetics has been replaced with the natural ones. So they become greener, they become eco-friendly reactions. And secondly, as I've told you, these bodies are a part of the products. They are also the bioactive compounds. They are bioactive natural compounds. The resulting dye will automatically become a functional dye usable for textile materials, especially the medical textile, so they give you functional dyes automatically when we involve plant based material for their preparation. I hope you got the idea about the semi synthetic dyes, you got the idea about the fully natural dyes, and you got the idea about the functional dyes, eco-friendly dyes. If you have any issues, if you have any problem, please do come up with your questions in the comment area, or you may approach me through WhatsApp. I would be happy to respond at the earliest possible, inshallah. So thank you very much for your time and consideration. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.